Hey guys, it's Thunder here, and I thought I'd make this a bit of a different kind of mod showcase video. It's not necessarily a mod showcase of anything, it's more to kind of explain something. Now, I've received some comments in the past regarding Need for Speed Carbon, and that I really should probably try to look in making some mod showcase videos of that, because it seems to be that as of more recently, newer mods for the game actually do have performance changes and all that kind of stuff. And whilst that's great and all, I haven't really had much of a reason to go to it. Now, this isn't, of course, Carbon. This is Need for Speed Underground 2. And I kind of want to just kind of exemplify one of the major reasons I don't really want to focus too much on games that aren't most wanted. Of course, if it comes to something like Hot Pursuit, High Stakes, or Hot Pursuit 2, I think even maybe Fortune Unleashed, I'm not sure. But if it comes to something like those games, there's a good reason why I want to focus on those more than, say, something like Underground or Underground 2 or Carbon. Basically, the other major black box Need for Speed games. So now you could be saying, now what exactly is the problem with showing off mods? Well, what I decided to kind of really make this video to kind of really exemplify my point. This is a Underground 2. As you can see, I'm in a Porsche 911 GT1 mod, the racing car. This is the long tail thing from '98, I think it was. And I'm driving around the car, and I kind of really wanted to show off the major point of this. Now, this is, of course, a race car. It should be going pretty quick, and it is kind of quick, but is it just me, or do you think it probably should be, something a little more than what it is? Well, the thing is, I personally can't notice really a difference when it comes to a lot of these car mods. No, with Most Wanted, it's easy because you can really properly adjust the values to your liking. But with stuff like Underground 2 and Carbon, it seems for a good period of time that it was just a visual. It was morely just a visual change and nothing more. It was basically a way to kind of get something with more to your liking, and that seems what it seems to be like. Like, look at these low speed sections, for example. I could do these sections faster in a Corolla, and if you don't believe me, I can grab one out after this and show you. But yeah, that's just the problem, is that there are too many inconsistencies when it comes to these games. There's just a lot of car mods within the game that don't really affect any difference in performance. And if there is any, it's too insignificant. I remember trying to do some testing on this game before with the Koenigsegg 1-to-1, for example. It replaced the Toyota Celica, and sure, it was faster, but only by such a small amount. It didn't exactly feel like a car that would easily be capable of going 270 miles an hour. It didn't feel, and it was. I tested other car mods, and there's just not enough of a significant change. I mean, it's really cool to be able to play games like this and have all these really cool cars. So being able to have like a street racing game, and I'm in a race car like the 911 GT1, but that's just one of the reasons I've been very reluctant to look on the other games, because of a situation like this where I'm gonna have like a bunch of mods that don't change much. And yeah, sure, with Carbon, maybe that doesn't seem to exactly be the case anymore. But the problem is, it makes me so much more limited to what I can look at. I can only look at a certain group of mods from a certain period of time. And that's a problem. Like, something like that really kind of shows the inconsistencies with games like this. Don't get me wrong, the mods themselves are awesome. There's some excellently detailed stuff, and I would always still recommend it if you're someone who is kind of a bit more bored with the usual. But again, the problem just comes down to the fact that it's also just really inconsistent, and that's kind of the reason I've been reluctant to do something like Underground or Underground 2 or Carbon. Now, again, I can if there is a very particular mod that you really want to see a video of, I can make an exception. But just keep in mind that I'm a kind of a performance guy, and I like to show that kind of stuff off because, you know, I'm a racing guy. But the problem is that it doesn't, it just doesn't make much of a significant change. And that's where the problem leads to. I would love to be able to show all the kind of mods and stuff and really be able to go more in depth with them, but really when you break it down, it's really just a visual change and, you know, different collision to kind of represent the visual change of the car itself, and that's about it. So that's kind of why I'm, you know, a bit more reluctant to do the other kinds of games. Now, of course, that's not always exactly the case. I do, of course, have some other things. Most Wanted is still always a possibility because of you know, the difference in performance. And there's also another reason I kind of really go to Most Wanted a lot of the times. It's really easy to mod that game. With Underground 2, what I had to do was I had to load like a certain like little installer thing to have like a config for the car, install that, and then just to have the textures were properly replaced, I then had to go and replace 2 files for the GT1 replaces, which is the Mazda RX-7, and then I had to go do that, and then I had to use the text editor, the NFS text ed, to change the textures, so it'll actually display as Porsche 911 GT1. And then if I really wanted to, I could go to LangEd, which would basically change the RX-7 text to say GT1 instead. That's a lot of work just to have a mod. With Most Wanted, you drag and drop 2 files into their own dedicated place and you're done. And that's another reason why I really like doing with Most Wanted, because it doesn't permanently replace the files. With stuff like Underground 2 and somewhat Carbon to an extent, you have to replace the files direct from the source, and that's annoying to have to do all the time. Where with Most Wanted, I can easily just drag and drop, put it in our own dedicated folder, and I'm on my way, and that makes me a lot happier because it's a lot easier to manage. And you know, and don't get me wrong, I always loved that people make all this, go through all these efforts to make these mods, but do we really have to make it complicated sometimes? Why can't these other games have something similar to a mod installer or a mod loader? Have something like that, because then it makes it not only easier for people to get into, but it makes it more, you know, more fun. And that's, again, Most Wanted just simplifies it in a lot of ways. And you know, that's why I can't. And you know, it's not just that. Grand Theft Auto, if you've ever tried adding car mods to Grand Theft Auto 5, yeah, sure, there's maybe a little more work involved, but it's really just, again, it comes down to dragging and dropping a folder into its own dedicated section if it's an add-on and not a replacement vehicle. You put it in that folder, you then just edit a text file and you just add that little text to tell the game that, and that's about it. That's all you really have to do with those ones. It's simple. It makes it a lot easier. And you know, I've tested GTA 5 mods before. They actually do have different performances. There are notable differences depending on which car mod you get, and that's awesome. So I could always do some mod showcase on Grand Theft Auto 5 if you ever want to see that. And you know, I did the one of Test Drive Unlimited not too long ago, the community pack. Those cars, they all got their own performance stuff. So, you know, maybe there might be a little bit more work required for Unlimited, but, you know, that's fine. Because, again, the Ultra Community Pack gives you, like, 10 custom slots to be able to do that. So, you know, and I have no idea how, with Need for Speed, in regards of modding for Pro Street works, because I've never tried to test it. Where's my car? And as well as something for, like, Undercover, which is only now recently starting to get mods. It's, you know, it's all these kind of things that, you know, it just makes it more tedious to have to do. And I just like it to be simple, and when it's simple, because the thing is, when it's simple, I can easily just make a video of it. It can easily push it out, and it'd be ready to go. Something like this, on the other hand, requires a little bit more work for what's in the long run really could just be nothing more but a visual aesthetic and not much else. You know, that kind of puts a lot of different things on it. and that's why you probably won't really be seeing many of these mod videos for likes of Underground 2, Carbon, and all that kind of stuff. I like to focus on games where it makes a difference. Most Wanted has always been that game of choice because of how easy it is to work with. Grand Theft Auto 5 can easily be one. In fact, Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, hell, Grand Theft Auto 4, they're all easy to put car mods in. I like it to be simple because then it means I can easily make videos for it. I don't want to have to sit through all these do more extended time just to get a car mod out. I just like to, I'm a simple man, and you know, maybe I don't like to have to always spend a lot of time with things, because I like to play a bunch of other games too. That's another pretty valuable reason to me, you know, all that kind of stuff. I can always do what I can, but of course, you know, I've got other games planned too. I can show mods for Wreckfest. I can show mods for Crash Day Redline Edition. I can show mods for I'm sure I'm missing something else, honestly. You know, Trackmania is probably not that hard to get car mods in, to be honest. You know, Assetto Corsa, if I ever decide to start reinstall that game and you know, just say fuck it, I'll play it with a controller anyways and just show off some mods. Assetto Corsa's got plenty, and I've heard it's not too hard to put mods in that game. So don't worry about me not showing some of these other Need for Speed games. It's just I like to focus on what's simpler, and in a lot of ways, is one other thing. Most Wanted is still one of the most popular Need for Speed games for mods, bar none. Underground 2 is close, but Most Wanted really still is in its own footing. There are still so many mods that are made for that game to this day, and still will be. That'll still remain the case as long as popular as it is. And of course, you know, High Stakes is also another game that's, you know, still got a good fan base to it. Hell, I talked to AJ Lethal. He's part of my Discord server, and he makes mods for that game as well as this game here, Underground 1, and, you know, Most Wanted. And, you know, and I would love to show off his mods for the likes of High Stakes and Most Wanted, because he does some excellent work. And again, it's not just a visual thing. It has its own life. It breathes its own life in performance things. So, yeah, that's kind of... I kind of been rambling on more than anything, but hopefully this video helped to explain some of the reasons exactly as to why I don't particularly focus on the other black box Need for Speed games until... I mean, I will... Oh, wow, I think the game just crashed. Yeah, it did. Until the games, you know, can... You know, things kind of get a little bit simpler for that kind of stuff, then I will definitely take a look at it, and, you know, I might still do some for Carbon, who knows, but honestly, I think that hopefully will explain why I'm a bit more reluctant to do these particular Need for Speeds. But don't worry, there will be other Need for Speeds like High Stakes, Need for Speed 3, Hot Pursuit 2, because I know those ones for a fact. They all have cars that just performance. Probably won't do Hot Pursuit 2 as much. That one doesn't really get too many mods anymore. High Stakes does, of course, and I think Need for Speed 3 is the same problem as Hot Pursuit 2. And High Stakes is kind of like the exception out of the bunch there. And, you know, all that stuff. And, you know, I always want to show, like, other mods, too, for, like, other things, too. Like, so, if there's any other games you want to see, just let me know in the comments. I'll pin a comment, and I'll mention, hey, guys, let me know what other games you would like to see. And I'll think I'll do that. And of course, I'll leave a Discord link if you want to talk about it there as well, because I'm always listening. But in the meantime, guys, though, I hope that it clears things up for you guys. So, anyways, I will continue, of course, doing some Most Wanted mods. I might show off some Test Drive Unlimited mods, Grand Theft Auto 5 mods. I gotta think. This series is a bit of a weird one for me when it comes to thinking of things to make. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. I guess today's episode, more like just today's analysis or explanation, or Anyways, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you all on the next one.